Yo, and welcome to this episode of the No Money Marketing Podcast, where we talk about how you can do marketing when your competitors have a lot more money than you. Today, we're really privileged to have with us Poornima Couto, who is the CMO for SLK Software.
Thank you, Jessie.
Poornima, we've talked over the years, and you've also worked in one of my former organizations, Wipro. Something that you've been recognized a lot for is the strategy aspect, right? Of how do you build an impactful marketing organization. And it's always also around punching above your weight. So, any tips or strategies that you could share with us about what's worked for you?
So, Jessie, I feel like we are perennially in a budget constrained world, especially in marketing, right? I feel like the outcomes that are expected versus the investments being made is almost always disproportionate. But, as a leader, you need to prioritize what are your most important business KPIs that you want to deliver on and really maximize the funding into those programs. Second is, how do we move away from traditional marketing approaches that requires deep pockets, right? I have consciously moved away from large format events or sponsoring these massive trade shows that a bunch of people go up for from your organization, and you set up a booth, you sponsor, you spend like a minimum of like 150 200k dollars, right? I simply didn't see the ROI kicking in those kind of events. It's important to create your own micro events and go focused on who you want to talk to, who you want to be in front of, and really kind of go all out there versus spreading yourself into a sea of multiple brands in an industry event where you kind of completely get lost. So for me, I think the philosophy I go with is really maximize your reach and the exposure that you can give even to low cost initiatives as long as there is customer value. So create your own platforms, your own brand properties that are meaningful and also have a purpose towards value creation.
That's actually a very clever approach because all events are not equal. And I've always felt that when you own the property, you get more mileage from it than trying to, be one of the crowd and trying to, put a bigger logo or whatever over there. Since you mentioned events, in today's world where everybody's talking about, hey, we can do AI, hey, we can do virtual, do you see events as something that is still a very big part of marketing?
It is. It's definitely important. I think the whole COVID era, there's been so much fatigue around webinars and digital events. People are ready to have those human interactions now, as long as it's within the comfort of their 10-mile radius. And I don't think that people are going to be flying all across countries in the world to go attend an event just to be one amongst 1,000 people at that event, right? So that's why I feel like it's important to go more focused and have smaller micro events that you create. Intimate events, I feel, are the way forward. Gives you a lot more bang for the buck.
That's really a great approach. I also think that overall, the way we find information has changed. So,
Yeah.
in person, I'm willing to go whatever 10 miles to check it out. But online as well, I think the way we process information has changed even in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And I know that you guys have this award winning website at SLK Software. I think that was around 2022 that you built or revamped the entire website. How are you accommodating the changes in how people search? Has the role of the website actually changed for you in the last couple of years?
I think, now is a great time for us to really reimagine what a website should be like and how it can, potentially redefine your customer experience itself. I think the whole aspect of user journeys that you create on the website with AI, it can be both simplified and enriched, right? So, for example, you have a certain persona that you're trying to attract, and there's a certain persona that you're trying to serve content to and information to. It is absolutely possible to create dynamism within that website and create different user journeys for different personas that you are targeting. Of course, hyper-personalization and conversational bots, they've been around for long, but I think it is very much the time for us to take that to the next level and have more AI-powered search, more, AI-enabled, have more adaptive UI. now it's possible to understand what your user prefers, where are the buttons, where are the click-throughs, and, actually that can also be more dynamic and adaptive based on the user experience, based on the persona that is coming in, and creating those seamless user journeys. That's what we are trying to move towards as well. We've already tested out a couple of things. We're trying to bring in agents, agentic AI. In fact, within SLK, we've started using an agent for research, and it's just a matter of time before we extend that sort of agents into our website as well. So they become our salespeople, right? Your digital salespeople on the website.
Okay, that sounds really cool. When you talk about digital salespeople, that's kind of like dream come true for some people, at least, and not for other people. Oh, like, can I have a real human to talk to? So, my question for you there is, as we move more into agentic AI, as we move into more AI-led search, if I know that I'm looking for you, then I come directly to your website. Would that be kind of accurate?
No, so there are two things, right? One is, of course, people who know you and they want to kind of get to know more about you because they've heard about you somewhere or they've seen or read about you somewhere. But the other is, of course, the aspect of how you show up in SEO, right? People are typing up certain keywords, and then if you are ranking for those, naturally you will show up and then that happens. But I think it's more and more important to build on the former. So they have a little bit of a recognition, they have a little bit of awareness, and then they look for you, and then they kind of, and it's happened recently with a few of our prospects who've been talking to. They said, you know what, we read something about you, we saw an ad, and I kind of looked you guys up, and then I said, okay, let's talk. So yeah.
Okay, as a marketer, it's always happy to hear that, right? And it's working. Yeah, I mean, that's real pull marketing. If you were to give advice to someone who's, let's say, taking over a CMO of a company today, what's the advice you'd give them?
CMOs are seen as the central figures who bring the organization together, who bring insights into the organization. So it's one is important to build allies. And this is to do with any leadership role, I would say, not just a CMO. I think it's very important for us to build allies within the organization. So you're able to rally a significant number of the leadership team behind what agenda you have for the organization. Second is, as you're stepping up into a leadership position, I think it's important for you to remember that what got you up to here will not get you there. So, and what I mean by that is the behaviors that probably helped us during the start of our career may not be the ones that will help us as we move into a leadership position. So, important to identify and break those habits that could hold us back. Third thing is AI fluency. This is the new literacy in business. So anyone stepping into a CMO role needs to be absolutely be comfortable on using, leveraging, adapting, and being part of the AI building models. Right? I think very important for us to be able to leverage the power of AI and how do we kind of bring it in and move beyond content generation, move beyond visual generation, right?
How would someone get that skill set?
So I think it's multiple things. One is you go through certain trainings. A lot of companies are providing those opportunities for training, and we're doing that at SLK as well. So important to rely on upskilling and training either through the company or you do it yourself. There are lots and lots of options out there in the market. Second is, be experimentative. You have to keep exploring what's out there, keep trying POCs, keep trying, do demos, look at what features are there, where does it work, where does it not work. So explore as long as you're not going to sink your fund, but be very experimentative and keep trying new things within the realm of AI. Hundreds and hundreds of platforms and tools out there that can help marketers. So important to, kind of keep trying those.
That's good advice. You talked a little bit about leadership and you talked about how, sometimes what got you here is not going to help you stay here. Maybe you could share a little bit about some of the challenges that you faced as you transition to a leadership role.
So, Jess, I won't call those challenges, honestly. I would say it's about spotting opportunities. Moving beyond who and what you know. Many times we feel very comfortable in the environment that we are in, that it kind of becomes hard to kind of break that mold and go beyond that. And this whole imposter thing, by the way, that imposter syndrome thing is such a real thing amongst women. And so we need to constantly remind ourselves that that if we are in a certain position and there's a certain job we're doing, it's because we're good at it. and people believe that we're good at it, which means we have to believe that we're really bloody good at what we're doing and in that particular job. So the challenge, I think, is really more internal than external. I recently heard somebody say this, that good leaders walk towards fear and discomfort every day.
It's actually difficult advice to practice. So do you have any examples of something you've done like that?
I have actually, when I joined SLK, I joined as a CMO, right, a few years ago. And 2023, I was given the role of market making. So I had to look at how do we expand certain segments, certain industry segments, how do we go out there? And it was a business role. And I hadn't done anything like that before. Well, there was some amount of marketing that would contribute to the market making aspect. It was more about how we generate pipeline, what opportunities do we want to go after, how do you convert that, and who are the people we need to talk to. And I was working with some of the sales leaders to get that moving. And that's not something I'd done before. And that would honestly keep me up at night because I have a number to chase. And in marketing, you don't have those kind of revenue numbers to go after. So it actually gave me sleepless nights. But it's great because I would wake up saying, okay, this is what I'm going to do differently today. And I'm going to try and get there. And I want to get that number. It was uncomfortable, supremely uncomfortable. And then you kind of learn a lot from it. You will make mistakes. You're not going to be good at it initially. You will make mistakes, but that's where the allies kick in, right? If you build your allies ecosystem, you learn and you understand and you go with an approach of, hey, I want to get good at this. So how do I do this well? And you kind of grow.
Okay, that was very candid. And yeah, chasing numbers is a different ballgame. If I had to choose just 3 areas today to invest in, what should I pick?
So I would say do micro events. I think I've seen a lot of ROI from it. And when I say micro events, really go narrow and small and focused, right? So that. Second is definitely keep investing in differentiation-led storytelling, especially in IT services, right? It is so hard to say one from the other apart. So I think that goes a long way and it consistently gives you good ROI. And the third is, of course, AI-driven, insights-driven, AI-powered insights-driven campaign strategy. I mean, that needs to back up all of it, all of the campaign work and all of the campaign planning that you do and how do you optimize, how do you use those few $100 to really stretch it and get the bang for the buck.
Sounds good. We hear a lot about Gen Z coming in and how that's changing everything. What advice would you give Gen Z that's entering into a marketing role? And, any advice on specializations or what should they do?
Some of the sub functions within marketing are going to be very commoditized. For example, digital marketing. I honestly feel that, and to an extent, even content. We've seen how Gen AI can really change the ball game with content writing. Not that, the human in the loop aspect can be ignored. Of course, we need it because you cannot have purely AI written content of this. Google will kick us out. But for Gen Zs, I would say, look at, it's important to look at marketing as a techno marketer. Very important for us to embrace technology truly and embrace what's happening around you from an environment perspective, right? What's happening in the industry? What are the macro trends? And to be able to connect the dots. If we're able to do that and look at some opportunity building for the organization. So if you're able to guide the organization towards, hey, this is what we should be really selling and this is what you should be packaging your solutions into. Because this is what the need will be 18 months from now, then you are going to be a super valuable marketer to the organization.
Sounds like very valuable advice. And it's bad news that digital marketing is already kind of seen as a, old age form of marketing. But I see what you're saying. So I think it's been great. I think we've covered a lot of ground. And we do have a rapid fire round.
Okay.
So I'm going to go fast and I just expect a really short answer on this round. So video or white paper?
Video.
3 things that are always in your handbag.
House keys, phone, hand cream.
Instagram or LinkedIn?
LinkedIn during the day, Instagram while I'm going to sleep.
Conference you've enjoyed the most?
Future of storytelling in New York.
Most memorable corporate gift that you either given or received?
And I just roll my eyes. You're all so boring. This is so bad. They really need to rethink what corporate gifting really means.
Okay, we found a pet peeve of yours then. So, thank you so much, Poornima, for joining us today. And it's been great fun talking to you. And thanks also to everybody who's joined us today for this podcast. And look forward to catching up with you on the next edition as well. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, Jessie. Thank you.